Hey guys, welcome to another JonesingForFilm review. Today's review is not an Instagram poll. This is one that I'm just kind of doing off the seat of my pants, as it were. And that is American Assassin. Came out in 2017, and I've never actually seen this movie yet. Picked it up at the library, as you can see by all the labels and stuff. So yeah, I haven't seen this yet, but based on the cast, Dylan O'Brien I liked in The Maze Runner. Michael Keaton is a phenomenal actor, and I think Emile Hirsch is Taylor Kitsch, sorry, I always confuse the two. Taylor Kitsch is also one that I like as well. So I'm interested in checking this out. Based on the trailers, it looks like it's going to be like an action-y espionage kind of film. We'll see if that's actually true, because I mean trailers lie all the time. But yeah, I'm interested in checking this out for the first time, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it after. So I just finished American Assassin, and it's okay. I don't know, it's just another one of those generic kind of espionage, CIA, fight the bad guys kind of movie. So to start off, the premise of American Assassin is Dylan O'Brien plays as Mitch Rapp, a man who is recruited by the CIA to be part of a secret CIA organization known as Orion, and they're tasked with, you know, stopping terrorism, preventing arms deals, that kind of thing, and a huge amount of weaponized plutonium has been stolen, and now it's up to this team to retrieve it and stop the sellers and the buyers and all that kind of stuff. But Rapp has a tragic past to him, and sometimes that kind of gets in the way of doing the job. Now, there's not really much in this that I'm going to kind of spoil. I'll do a little bit of that at the end of the review. There's a couple of things that I kind of want to talk about. There's one thing that I want to talk about, and it's in the trailer, but if you haven't seen the trailer, then it's kind of played up as like a reveal or like kind of a shock. Not really, but so if you haven't seen the trailer, I'll leave that part in the spoiler section as well. So let's just get on with the actual review. For starters, the acting is actually pretty decent. Dylan O'Brien does a fairly decent job with his role. He's got that cocky, snide kind of attitude, kind of that like disrespect of authority, but he's still kind of a likable character. And at the beginning you kind of feel for him because it reveals what his tragedy is, but again, I'll kind of get into that in the spoiler stuff. Yeah, he does kind of have like, there are these moments of kind of like where he just has to be kind of like one note, and I don't know if that's a plus of saying that he's a good actor in terms of doing one note, because like I think anybody could really do one note, but there's a couple of moments where he kind of feels like he's disconnected from everything else, and it kind of works to his favor. But then there's other moments where he's kind of got a little more life in him. But I did find that the majority of the time he was pretty one note, and I don't think it was necessarily O'Brien's acting. I think it was more of the character, which is something I'm going to talk about in the spoiler stuff. But by far the best actor in this film is obviously Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton. I love him as a comedic actor, I love him as a dramatic actor, and I also love like when he's able to take both traits and kind of amalgamate them into the same role. Here he's doing more of a dramatic approach, sort of like he's the recruiter, he's the trainer of Dylan O'Brien's character, the lead of this special team. You know, he does his part well as that role, and yeah, like every time he was on screen, I was enjoying his performance. There's a couple of moments towards the end where he gets kind of a little more comedic, but not intentionally comedic. Like the situation doesn't call for comedy, but he gives like a very intense performance that it kind of comes off as comedic, but not like in a cheesy like Nick Cage way. The other main actor that's in this is Taylor Kitsch, and he's the villain of the movie per se, and he does a decent job, and it was actually kind of cool to see him in a more darker, well, I don't want to say a darker role because he's done dark roles before, but like in terms of like which side of the good guy bad guy spectrum he's on, it was interesting and cool to see him on the other side for once, because usually he's the hero or he's just kind of like a side character. He's never really, I don't think I've ever seen him as like a villainous character, so it was interesting. But his motivations don't, again, going back down to the writing, his motivations don't seem very flushed out. There really wasn't much making me feel like he was a very sinister villain. He was just kind of a bad guy because the plot desired there be a bad guy. I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot more connection to his character. And again, I'll talk a little bit about that in the spoiler stuff. But as the rest of the movie goes, it's, like I said, it's a generic kind of espionage film. The film goes from beat to beat to beat. The pacing does feel a little bit slow. It's about 10 minutes shy of 2 hours, and it feels very long. There's a lot of stuff that I feel could have been cut out, and it may have helped the story. I feel like there could have been things that could have been altered to kind of make the story a little more fleshed out, a little more flowing. So yeah, I mean, like, it's, like I said, it's your typical, you know, bad guys have weapon of mass destruction, the good guys have to go in and stop them. Conflict and gunshots go off, you know. Yeah, there's really not much to talk about, not spoiler-wise, in terms of this film. Like I said, it's... I mean, I didn't hate myself watching it. I enjoyed it. I probably won't go out and pick up my own copy of it for certain, but I'm not upset that I watched it. I didn't turn it off halfway through, and I always feel like that's a plus. And it was worth a watch, if nothing for like I said, for the performances. If you've got nothing else to do and Tom Clancy-esque spy thrillers are your thing, give this one a go. Give this one a once over. You might actually find it more enjoyable than I did. I find the Tom Clancy style films are hit or miss for me, and I have to be in like the right mood to watch it. The reason I watched this one when I did is because I got it from the library and I only had a week to watch it. So those are my non-detailed, non-spoiler thoughts on this film. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. And I'm going to get into detail, spoiler-ish stuff. Here we go. So my biggest gripe with the film comes from Dylan O'Brien's character. Like I said, it's his writing that really rubs me the wrong way. He's written as a character who's very defiant and doesn't listen to orders. He doesn't do what he's told. He goes off and does his own thing. Part of that comes from his tragic backstory, which is the intro to the film. He proposes to his girlfriend. She says yes. They're at a beach resort, and you know, everything's happy, whatever, and then these gunmen show up on the beach. They just start shooting everybody. Dylan O'Brien's character gets hit but doesn't die, but his girlfriend gets killed. And then it flash forwards, I think it's like 18 months later, and he's become a weapons expert. He's a fighting expert. He's tracked down these terrorists that shot up the beach, and he's figured out where their cell is, and he's trying to get into their ranks so he can, you know, stab him in the back, as it were. And just as he's like about to do that, the CIA swoops in. They take out his target, as it were, and then they bring him in and they ask him to be part of it because he was able to infiltrate the cell that they were never able to do, and which already to me feels like very unbelievable. Like in 18 months he's become like this John Wick style weapons expert, and he's like incredibly good at fighting, and he was able to intercept this terrorist cell on his own without the help of like the CIA and stuff. And so they recruit him, but because he's got like this defiance and this problem with authority, as it were, every time they give him an order, he does something different because it makes the movie... For movie standpoint, it makes the movie look cooler because then he gets to do his gun shooting and like his Rambo stuff. But as a character, I just didn't feel like there was much of an arc to it, because then at the end, one character is seen as potentially being a villainous character, and he saves them to help save somebody else. But like again, he was told to stay put, but instead he goes off and does his own thing. He saves this would-be, could-be traitor to save his mentor, and then he does that, and then at the end, after everything's said and done, the head of the CIA, played by Sanaa Lathan, she asks Michael Keaton, she's like, so where is Rap? I can't get a hold of him. And they look at the TV, and they're talking with the could-be next president of Iran, I want to say. And he says something about eliminating all American threats or something like that. And then it cuts to him getting in an elevator with Dylan O'Brien's character, and the door shut and the credits start rolling, and it's kind of that like, yeah, he's still playing by his own rules. So I feel like there was no character arc. There was nothing for him to learn. He starts out as being defiant and playing by his own rules, and as the movie goes on, he doesn't really learn from that. Even though a couple of times he makes mistakes, he still gets the job done, and he gets chewed out for it, but the movie still goes on with him still continuing to do that, almost as if to say, it's like, yeah, he did the job right, so it's okay that he didn't listen to authority and didn't listen to his leadership. I don't feel like he really had a character arc. He was very one note. He was that loose cannon who plays by his own rules, you know. And I didn't find him that engaging of a character. Also, not as engaging of a character was our villain. Again, he is very one note. He's just kind of the bad guy to be the bad guy. And his biggest character thing, like I said, it was in the trailer, but I didn't want to spoil that for anybody that's never seen the trailer. He's actually a former student of Michael Keaton's character. And at the end, he captures Michael Keaton and starts torturing him. And you kind of get the idea that, because he was it kind of goes into when Michael Keaton does his beginning shtick. He says, if you're dying out there, we don't come back for you. You're a ghost. You don't exist to us. And it kind of is alluded that Taylor Kitsch had this happen to him. He fell in the line of duty, and then nobody came back for him, and he was captured by terrorists, and he was tortured, and then he either escaped or they let him go. And now he's got this vendetta against the American structure that abandoned him, basically, is what it is. And his ultimate plan, which is revealed in the last 15 minutes of the movie, is to blow up a fleet of aircraft carriers and battleships and stuff. And just the whole movie, you're just kind of going well, what's his end game? What's he planning? Is he planning the whole movie? It's kind of setting it up that he's going to sell it to these other terrorists, but then at the last moment he winds up shooting them because he actually just wanted the bomb for himself. And it wasn't well written. It wasn't a well written villain, and it didn't come off as strongly as I think that as much as I think that the writers wanted it to. So I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about with American Assassin. Like I said, it's kind of generic, but if you're into those spy, assassin, CIA kind of movies, I'd give it a once-over, but me personally, I'm not going to wind up probably owning this movie at all. So that's my take on American Assassin. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe if you yourself are jonesing for film.